In this heart-wrenching African folktale, Charles, Favour, and Olivia's lives change overnight when their parents die in a tragic car accident. Instead of finding comfort in family, their stepmother turns their world into a nightmare. She takes everything, their home, their inheritance, and throws them out into the streets with nothing but the clothes on their backs. From sleeping in an abandoned building to selling sachet water under the scorching sun just to eat, these siblings face unimaginable hardship. But destiny had not forgotten them. Years later, tables turn. Then comes the twist. Karma knocks on their stepmother's door in ways she never imagined. This emotional African story is packed with betrayal, suffering, resilience, and the ultimate victory of the underdog. If you've ever been rejected or underestimated, this tale will inspire you to believe that no situation is permanent. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful African folktales from Tales by Armar. Now, let's dive into how it all started. The rain that evening started like gossip, small, scattered, almost playful. It tapped zinc roofs across Umuaka Junction while traders packed up Gary, dried fish, and peppers into buckets. Charles stood at the window waiting for his parents' car lights to appear on the bend near the old mango tree. They had traveled to the city for a burial and promised to be back before night fully sits. Mama and Papa will soon come, he told Favour, who was plaiting little Olivia's hair by lantern light. But thunder rolled. Rain thickened. Time dragged. Around 9 p.m., a neighbor ran in, soaked, face pale. Motor accident near Agba Road, a black Toyota, please come. That is how childhood ended in one night. By morning, the compound that once rang with laughter and Sunday hymns was full of whispering adults. White cloth. Condolences. Crying you don't plan but can't stop. The bodies were identified. Their parents, gone. Charles clenched his fists till his palms hurt. Favour held Olivia so tight the child squirmed, crying without understanding. Where is Mummy? Where is Daddy? Why are they sleeping like that? People said the usual things. Take heart. God knows why. Children, you must be strong. But grief at that age is not words, it is a hole that swallows time. Within days, another woman began moving freely around the house, Cecilia, who had once been a distant family acquaintance. She wore bold wrappers and perfume that clung to curtains. At first she cooked, helped arrange visitors, cried loudly whenever people watched. Ah, my sister, my brother, she wailed. Who will I now help to take care of these children? Nobody asked who invited her. In times of sorrow, doors stay open too long. In mourning days, food appears unasked, coolers of jollof, akara, yam, watery tea. Cecilia seemed to manage everything. She told aunties where to sit, told uncles how to collect condolence money, told neighbors when to return. She slept in the guest room first, then moved her boxes into Mama's room just to guard her things. Charles watched. At night he heard Cecilia whispering with two men in the parlor. Lawyers, somebody said. She spoke about documents, joint accounts, next of kin complications. Whenever Charles entered, she smiled too wide. My son, have you eaten? You know I loved your mother. I cannot leave you like this. Within a month she started insisting they call her Mummy Sekai. It was quick. Too quick. But grief dulls suspicion. One afternoon she gathered the children. Listen, N. We must be serious. Your father owed people. I am fighting to protect what is left. We may need to sell some properties to pay debts. But don't worry, I am here. I promised your parents I will stand for you. Favour looked up. Mummy Sekai, where is the paper Daddy used to write our school fees and land? Cecilia's smile tightened. Children should not dig into adult wala. Just pray. That night the box where Papa kept documents was gone. Weeks became months. School term approached. Fees unpaid. Uniforms tight. Rice finished. Cecilia began selling furniture. We must cut costs, she said. When I stabilize, you all will enjoy. She sold Papa's motorcycle, Mama's sewing machine, then moved to land talk. What of the land at NK Pogu? An uncle asked. It is for sale, she replied quickly. Debt is choking us. Are you sure? Another auntie whispered. He told me that land is for the children's trust. Cecilia laughed. My dear, if debt drags you, you will sell even your wrapper. Within that period, Charles overheard argument between two relatives at the gate. Cecilia is rushing things. Leave her. Who else will manage? The children are small. Nobody pushed harder. Suffering grows where silence settles. Then one evening, Cecilia returned from town wearing fresh gold earrings and lace oak. She smelled of new money. Pack your things, she told the children. We are traveling tomorrow. To where? Asked Favour. To where we can manage life better. This place is swallowing money. What she did not say, she had already transferred house deed into her name. They did not travel. They were dumped. Cecilia hired a keek to carry the children plus 2 small bags. She told the driver, take them to the old site at Ardenu, my cousin will meet them. At the junction, she handed Charles a small nylon with Gary, said, stay here. I'm coming. Then she rode away in a private car. They waited. Sun shifted. Nobody came. By nightfall, rain threatened. Motorcycles thinned. People eyed them but didn't stop. Charles counted remaining Naira notes. Let's move, he said. They walked until they found an uncompleted building. Block walls, no doors, patches of roof, puddles. They slept there, cold, hungry, scared. In the morning Charles begged water from a food seller. Favour traded her hair beads for bread scraps. Olivia cried for home. There was no home. They returned to their parents' compound days later, feet dusty, hoping there was misunderstanding. The gate was locked. New padlock. New tenants' clothes online. When Cecilia saw them from a distance, she hissed and waved them off. I told you not to come back. I can't feed dead weight. Go and stay with your people. What of our inheritance? Charles shouted. She turned. What inheritance? Your father owed. If not for me, creditors would have dragged even the sand in this compound. Leave before I call security. People watched. Nobody intervened. That was the day resentment planted deep in Charles' chest like a stone that refused to melt. Life settled into a rough rhythm inside the uncompleted building they now shared with lizards, broken blocks, and fellow strugglers. Mechanics' apprentices, a woman who fried a car at dawn, 2 teenage boys who slept there between hustle shifts. They spread cartons for bedding. Charles scavenged zinc pieces to cover roof gaps. When rain leaked, they shifted positions like chess pieces avoiding puddles. Food came from hustling. Favour washed plates at a roadside booker for leftover tuo. Charles pushed wheelbarrows at market loading point. Olivia, too small to work, sang for customers while her siblings sold sachet water from a borrowed cooler. Her gap-toothed smile brought coin. When hunger tightened, Charles remembered how Papa used to say, if people block your front door, create a back door. That became their code. Each setback, find another path. They also guarded their names. Even in rags, they insisted, we are children of late barrister and Madame Okonkwo. Pride is not bad when it keeps you standing. At night they told stories to drown mosquitoes, how Mama made pepper soup during rain, how Papa taught multiplication with groundnuts, how one day they would build something bigger than what was stolen. Favour prayed aloud. God, don't let wicked people laugh forever. Olivia asked, will Mummy Sekai ever say sorry? Charles answered softly, we will not wait for her to say sorry before we rise. Months rolled. School. Forgotten by most people. But Charles refused illiteracy. Behind the market, a retired catechist ran a small evening lesson center using chalk on cracked wall. Payment: 20 naira or 2 sachets of water. Perfect. Charles attended first. Then dragged Favour. Olivia sat coloring in sand. They learned fractions, spelling, and boldness. If you can read, the catechist said, people cannot cheat you easily. One day a volunteer NYSC teacher stopped by and donated torn textbooks. Charles devoured them. He practiced coding logic without computer, writing IF. Then, in chalk like magic. He didn't know yet what software engineering fully meant. He only knew computers were doors to bigger worlds. Favour discovered she loved science diagrams. Human heart. Lungs. She borrowed an anatomy poster and taped it to unfinished wall where bats slept. "One day I will be doctor," she declared. Olivia listened and stored every dream. Every hero story has that one season where quitting feels easier than breathing. For the siblings, it came during double disaster. First, fire. A nearby mechanic spilled fuel near open flame. Midnight blaze raced through shanty stalls, licking into their building corner. They lost their small blanket, the books donated by the catechist, and half their cooler stock. Before they fully recovered, flood hit during heavy rains. Water poured through roof gaps, soaked Gary, ruined clothes, and carried away the last remaining school notebooks. The place stank of rot. Favour cried. "Maybe God forgot us." Charles almost believed it, until he saw Olivia pressing 2 charcoal sticks together and whispering, back door, Papa's saying. She looked up and grinned, missing tooth shining. "We will find another way." They rebuilt again, this time smarter. Raised sleeping pallet on bricks. Hung supplies in suspended buckets. Covered books in nylon before rain. Hardship became engineering class. Kindness often hides in unlikely people. For them, it was Mama Talatu, the Akara seller who fried by 5 a.m. near the taxi park. She noticed the children's consistency, always early, always polite, never stealing oil. One morning she said, "You people day try. Come and be packing Akara for me. I will pay with leftover beans and small change." From her stall they met drivers, travelers, and, most importantly, a youth pastor who ran a community scholarship exam for orphans. "You 3 should write," he urged. "Charles, we know get documents." "Pastor, use baptism name. We just want to help serious children." They wrote. Charles topped the math list. Favour scored high in science. Olivia, though small, charmed examiners with a spoken recitation of the multiplication table that had everybody laughing. They won partial scholarships to a low-cost mission school, uniforms included. When Cecilia heard news travels, she sent message through a market woman, "So you people are doing scholarship? Remember who took care of you, oh." They ignored. Wearing school uniforms again felt like stepping into sunlight after living underground. Theirs were patched, mismatched at first, but they wore them with pride. Charles excelled in mathematics and intro tech. A teacher noticed his logic puzzles and let him use the school's old computer lab after hours. Slow systems, virus warnings, broken keys. Still, he learned basic programming from donated CDs. Favour loved biology and volunteered in the small health club that weighed babies during community outreach. She was gentle. Mothers trusted her. Olivia, now growing into quick-talking preteen energy, turned every school assembly into performance. She led sanitation drives and small savings groups, bring 5 naira, we'll buy snacks in bulk. Entrepreneur seed planted. At prize-giving day, their names were called. The hall clapped. In the back row stood a familiar face, Cecilia, wrapped in expensive acai buy, expression tight as pepper. She posed later for photos as if she sponsored them. But the head teacher, a blunt woman, announced into the microphone, "These children succeeded through scholarship and their own hard work. Let us clap for their resilience." Cecilia's smile froze. Charles felt small revenge breathe. That holiday, standing under a tall mango behind school fence, the siblings made a bloodless pact. "We will never steal," Charles said. "We will never cheat others the way she cheated us." Favour added, "We will rise so high that even people who threw us away will look up." Olivia, always dramatic, "And when we rise, we will lift other children who sleep in uncompleted buildings." They sealed it by scratching lines in red soil with a rusty spoon, a circle joined by 3 arrows pointing outward. Destiny sign. From that day, each worked with long vision. Charles sought free online coding tutorials through cybercave printouts and second-hand discs. He walked miles to a government ICT center where staff let him practice typing after hours in exchange for sweeping. Favour shadowed nurses at the mission clinic. She learned to check temperature, clean small wounds, and record patient names in ledger. Olivia started buying extra sachet water to sell in school during break. Profit small, but she reinvested. She learned margins before puberty. Seeds were growing. As secondary school advanced, school required emergency contacts. They still listed their late parents' names, no phone. So letters returned. Sometimes welfare officers tried to reach extended family. Messages vanished. Once, the school sent official invitation to Cecilia as guardian for PTA Levi review. She replied only when told levies were waived for orphans, "Please include my name for recognition." She never paid a kobo. During SS1, Charles needed exam registration fees beyond scholarship coverage. He swallowed pride and went to Cecilia's new boutique shop. Yes, she now ran Sachet Royal Fabrics. The shop glittered lace, shoes, and wigs. "You again," she said. "So you people are not dead yet." "I need exam money," Charles said flatly. She laughed. "Do I look like bank? Your father left nothing but debt. If I give every person money, who will feed me? Go and ask church." He left without shouting. Fury matured into focus. "I will pass without her," he told Favour. He did. Scored distinctions. Time leaped. SSCE passed. Scholarship donors pushed for next steps. Charles landed a place in a Polytechnic ICT program after impressing a visiting NGO with a community water distribution tracking idea. He coded in spreadsheet macros and simple PHP. They sponsored half tuition. He freelanced fixing public cybercafe computers to cover the rest. Favour entered a state nursing school through another mission referral. Long nights, limited equipment, but she soaked knowledge like a dry sponge in rain. Olivia, younger by years, finished junior classes and expanded her break-time water hustle into weekend bulk distribution at motor parks. She discovered branding, printed small stickers saying Olivia Fresh and wrapped them on sachet packs for fun. People began requesting that Olivia water. They still slept part-time in the uncompleted building when in town, though gradually they rented a small single room near the market. "This is phase 2, Charles declared. Each school break they reunited, shared progress, pooled earnings, and reinvested. First into Olivia's water resale, then into a basic phone for Charles' coding gigs, then into Favour's exam textbooks. They moved like a tiny cooperative society. Charles' student project solved a real hustle, tracking who owed for delivered water in remote borehole communities where handwritten notes got wet and lost. He built a lightweight SMS logging tool using cheap feature phones. Type customer code plus number of bags. The system tallies in spreadsheet sync at Cybercafe. Olivia saw opportunity. "If we adopt this for my sachet business, we can supply shops on credit and track repayment." They piloted in 3 kiosks. Sales doubled. A local NGO focusing on clean water visited campus presentation day. Charles demoed the tool using Olivia's data. They were stunned. "You mean you built this with free tools?" He nodded. They gave a seed grant to refine. Condition: open source community version plus training youth. Boom. Door open. Charles used part of the grant to register a small enterprise. Backdoor Solutions Limited, Papa's phrase honored. Olivia became operations lead. Favour, though in nursing school, advised on hygiene standards for packaging. Favour's clinical rotations exposed her to child malnutrition, malaria, and mothers who diluted baby formula because money was short. She began sending voice notes to Olivia. "If your water brand could include micronutrient sachets add-on, or sponsor health talks, people will remember us." Charles loved data, Favour loved care, Olivia loved markets. The blend birthed Olivia Fresh Plus, basic clean drinking water bundles with printed health tips and QR code linking to Backdoor Solutions free SMS health reminders like, "Give ORS if child has diarrhea." They partnered with health outreach days in 3 wards. Uptake grew. Community trust deepened. Cecilia, meanwhile, faced bankruptcy. Suppliers demanded payment. Land documents she used as collateral got entangled in court. The original family compound, long rented to strangers, now stripped and leaking. Tenants left. She tried to sell again, but legal flags appeared. Old trust filings resurfaced through digitization records triggered by Charles' data work. Irony sweet. Village elders summoned a meeting. Let us settle this matter before outsiders disgrace our name. Invitation came formal, letter sealed with town union stamp requesting presence of the children of late barrister and Madame Okonkwo for land reconciliation. They arrived not in torn clothes but in quiet excellence, Charles in neat shirt, slim laptop bag, Dr. Favour in white coat draped over Ankara dress, Olivia in branded blazer saying Olivia Fresh Holdings. Murmurs rippled, see how they turned out. Cecilia sat front row, eyes red from sleepless nights. She tried small smile. My children. Charles nodded but did not embrace. Eldest elder cleared throat. We are here to review property claims and to speak truth. Many years ago, after your parents died, things were handled poorly. Poorly? Favour echoed, brows raised. Testimonies spilled. Neighbours confirmed the children were abandoned. One clerk admitted he processed deed transfers under pressure from Cecilia. Receipts showed funds never used to pay alleged debts. When asked if she wished to respond, Cecilia wept. I was afraid. I had nothing. I thought if I secured assets first, I could care for them later. Things scattered. Forgive me. Silence thick. Olivia whispered to siblings, back door. Charles answered, we came for justice and closure. Traditional settlement in their town mixed law, custom, and symbolic gestures. After review, elders ruled. Original family compound to revert in trust to the children, now adults, as primary heirs. Cecilia to retain small portion of leased farmland already sold in good faith to avoid punishing innocent buyers, but must publicly acknowledge wrongdoing. Community apology ceremony required. Palm oil poured on ground as cleansing, cola shared. Charles stepped forward. We accept restoration. But we also ask, let half of the compound be converted to a community skills and health center in our parents' memory, open to orphans and vulnerable children. Gasps and applause. Cecilia looked shocked. She said, you will still help others, after what I did. Favour replied, our parents helped people. We follow them, not you. Olivia added, karma is not always thunder. Sometimes karma is watching the person you threw away build what you cannot enter. The crowd roared. Renovation began. Cracked walls were demolished. New roofing sheets installed. Solar panels on top from a water NGO grant. One wing became an ICT lab with refurbished computers. Another wing was converted to a clinic and a training hall. A borehole was drilled in the yard as the Olivia freshwater station. Young people from the community trained in basic coding, data entry, and water distribution logistics. Mothers attended weekly health talks. Children received nutrition checks. Cecilia, now humbled and almost broke, requested a small job as a cleaner. The siblings debated. Charles asked, is this safe? Favour said, healing needs a witness. Olivia added, let her wipe the floors she once refused us to sleep on. They hired her. Minimum wage, no special favours. She swept quietly, listening as children she once ignored learned to dream. Months later, Cecilia fell ill. Her hypertension worsened. Business debts remained unpaid. She sat under the mango tree where the siblings once vowed and called them. I know I cannot rewind, she said. Every day I see those children here, and I remember how I pushed you away. If you can find space in your heart, forgive me. Charles, who carried the heaviest stone, finally exhaled. Forgiveness is not saying what you did is small, he said. It is saying we will not let it choke our future. Favour checked her blood pressure and started treatment through the clinic program. Olivia arranged small debt restructuring through backdoor financial literacy workshops, the same program open to all community traders. Cecilia attended classes like any participant. One evening she testified publicly. If you ever think you can build life on another person's inheritance, hear my story. The ground will reject it. Her words moved people more than any sermon. Grand opening day for the Okonkwo Memorial Skills and Health Center drew crowds from across the region. The choir sang. A government representative cut the ribbon. Youth demonstrated a coding app that tracks borehole maintenance. Mothers lined up for vaccinations. Water flowed free for children. Charles gave the opening speech. 15 years ago, we slept in an uncompleted building. Today, we open a center built on the land where we were once denied. This is proof, destiny can be delayed but not buried. Dr. Favour spoke next. If you are struggling, hold on. Help may not come from where you expect, but it can grow from within you. Olivia closed with flair. If life throws you out, build something outside that makes them invite you back. And when they do, don't just enter. Transform the place. The crowd erupted. Cecilia stood at the side, tears streaming. Not manipulation this time, but a humbled heart watching the children she tried to erase become pillars. The night ended with dance, food, and the lighting of a solar lantern garden dedicated to their parents. The plaque read, "For Barrister Chukwudi and Madam Adiz Okonkwo, who taught us that when doors close, children of destiny build another way." And in the hearts of all who heard, a moral settled. Wickedness may scatter things for a season, but destiny, hard work, and unity can rebuild a world, and even heal the one who wronged you. If this story touched you, like to honor every child who slept outside. Subscribe to Tales by Amar for more powerful African folktales with real lessons. Drop backdoor in the comments if you're inspired to build your own path. Share this with someone who needs hope. The end.